Hello and welcome. You're listening to the SPAG Dialogue podcast.
This is Iknoor Kaur, editor, and I am in conversation with someone very interesting today. It's Newborn Care Week, and we're trying to put together content that can help parents really make conscious decisions about how to take care of their newborn. And Nestery is a product that kind of does exactly that. And I have Vaishnavi, co-founder of Nestery, to give us an insight into how Nestery came about, but more importantly, consumer behavior in this space, right? What are parents really looking for? What are new age parents really looking for? So, first of all, Vaishnavi, thank you so much for joining us in this discussion. SPG Dialogue is trying hard to really put out content that new age parents can use effectively. How did Nestry really come about first? I really want to understand your journey before I deep dive into, consumer patterns.
Okay, so how did the Nestry really come to be? I became a parent in 2015 and I was terribly clueless. I was the first pregnant person I knew. I'd never seen like a pregnant person up close. I hadn't held a newborn, and so I did what every parent to be does. So I read up everything that came my way, online, offline, human beings, non-human beings, GPT-3, whatever. I read up everything that there was. What I neglected to do was I was reading up so much about pregnancy. I forgot to read about what happens when the baby actually comes home, right? Like when your support system of like the hospitals and the doctors and the nurses go away, when you come back home, what do you do? Like I did not know, and I was very scared. I chose to live in a nuclear family, and I wanted to take all of these decisions by myself. I wanted to parent on my own terms, and hence I am a new age parent. I wanted to parent on my own terms. So it was a very scary time. So what I someone asked me to join this group called Breastfeeding Support for Indian Mothers, and I joined that group, and it taught me a couple of very important things. One, don't ever quit on a bad day. That's what Adhunika, the admin there, keeps saying. And the second thing that she says, like the second thing I realized is, I'm not alone in this gig, right? Like everyone is winging it. Nobody's perfect. Every single one of us is winging it. It's okay if you drop your phone on your child's head, like by mistake once, right? Babies are made to be resilient, right? They're very resilient beings. So I learned all of this, and somewhere along the line, maybe like a year down the line, when like all this the hormone wave sort of washed over, I kind of realized I was part of so many of these groups. It helped me discover so many other communities of like-minded parents, and it basically helped me define what kind of a parent I wanted to be. Like I said, I wanted to do this gig on my own terms, right? It helped me discover brands, it helped me discover products, because as a parent, it's a brand new life stage. You really don't know what you're looking for, right? Like for example, if I go and look for a t-shirt, and if I go to an Amazon, I know exactly what I'm looking for. I know I have to go into apparel. I know I need to go inside t-shirts. I know I need to go inside, probably select material and price range, and hey, I'll get a few choices, something will catch my fancy. Unlike buying like a t-shirt, buying something for your child is so much more high stakes. You really want to be sure of the quality of products that you were buying. And please remember, this was in 2016. This is when like all these amazing new brands that you see today in the parenting space, like Momsco, Mama Earth, Super Bottoms, Skillmatics, all of these D2C brands that you see today were just getting launched. I've seen brands getting launched on a daily basis. I wasn't able to find these brands, nor was I able to figure out why I needed these brands. Someone to sort of help me crystallize from what I was going through to what I needed for that situation. Like for example, I was facing trouble. Like I was having a shoulder ache because I was nursing my newborn. That needs a nursing pillow, or that needs like a certain product, let's say, but I had to do the research to sort of find it. For my shoulder ache, I need a nursing pillow to solve that problem while I'm nursing. And to find that answer, I needed to either be part of these groups, or I needed to be like doing tons of research to find the correct answer. So that's really like the combination of these two things. One, to remove the need for research between what I'm facing and what I need, and to help parents discover amazing D2C brands in the parenting and childcare space. These two are the reasons why the Nestery started. I started it in 2019. Yeah,
That's so
really long
interesting.
story.
That is so interesting, Vaishnavi. And I think something that you highlighted is that I want to pick up on is the fact that there's a problem, and then there is obviously a product out there that addresses it. But how do you know that that is the product that you need, right? And I think today, of course, parents are way more conscious of how they are bringing up their child and what are the things that they need to put together. And there are a lot of these Instagram pages and a lot of influencers, and like we are in that bubble today, right? Especially over the last 2 years. Of course, when you became a mother, things weren't as people weren't as proactive as they are today. But people are very conscious about very basic things. What are the ingredients in a certain product? What is the fabric with which the clothes are being made? Are they sustainable or not? There are a lot of factors involved in decision making today. How does a new age parent, and I really want you to break it down as if you're talking to a 5-year old, how does a new age parent approach this entire process?
So, new age parents, the first defining quality about them, like that I feel, and I recognize that in myself, is that they want to hear inputs, they want to do the research, like they want to hear what is all out there, but they want to finally make that decision themselves. They want all the information, but they want to process it and make that decision themselves. Second thing is that they are willing to experiment, but given that safety and quality are like the most basic thing. It's like it's hygiene in the space that we are in the parenting and childcare space. Only if you cross that safety and quality threshold are you even like are people even willing to consider like experiment and try out new things. So these are like I would say two very defining qualities of like what how new age parents really go about deciding what they want. Definitely there is so much thought that goes into buying what they buy. Like you said, it's not just about their people are not just researching about what a product is. People are questioning why do they need it and when do they need it. And these are actually some of the things that we are also trying to address using our own, like we've created our own system that helps parents understand why and when they need it or why and when they don't need something. Yeah, because if you buy a nursing pillow, for example, and if someone is going to tell you buy it when your child is 2 years, there is literally no need for it when your child is 2 years, right?
Yeah, so also eliminating the waste.
Yes, being
I think that
mindful
happens
about
a
their
lot,
purchases.
doesn't it, though? But from your personal experience, doesn't that happen a lot, though? That, you enter, one of those showrooms which are for moms, and I'm not going to name any brands here, but there is so much. And then you're suddenly like, okay, maybe I should get this also, maybe I should get that also, but there's not enough information in terms of what do you really need at this stage. And there are stages of parenting as well. And of course, right now, I want to focus on newborn care because I think that's really important. Where could you give a sort of a guide to people listening to this podcast? Where can they go to get enough information in terms of what do you really need? And does Nestry provide that?
Yes, we do provide that information. And like my personal recommendation to everyone is don't buy anything till the baby is like born, and buy very little things. You'd be surprised how few things you need in the newborn stage, because they are like babies are pretty much like sedentary beings, at least for the first 6 weeks. And I would really say that treat the first 6 weeks as a period of adjustment for both the parents and for the child is learning how to live outside the womb, and the parents are trying to figure out this absolutely new tsunami that's been thrown at them. It's very overwhelming. We don't need products. If I were to recommend like one thing like that every parent should have, apart from maybe diapers and basic clothes, and if formula fed, like formula related equipment, is a baby carrier, because it's something that can be tremendously helpful from the time your baby is really small till the time your child is like 3. In fact, I don't think I actually lifted my daughter like in my hand still like she was 2, because she's always in my carrier. I realized actually how heavy she was once like she stopped sitting in the carrier, right? Because till then like all the weight is like nicely evenly distributed and was really like it's a very nice warm feeling for both the parent and the child, and it really helps in bonding. A nursing pillow is something that I highly recommend. Even if you don't nurse, it's really useful for sort of holding your child on your lap. That's pretty much it. Like,
That's, I
that's
think, so important. I think you've highlighted something that is so crucial. I mean, I'm nowhere close to being a parent, but even I did not know this. And I think it's just something that most people don't know, that you actually don't need so many things.
and everything else, right? You'll figure out based on what you need and what situation you're facing once the child comes home. Like, you don't have to plan for it beforehand, is what I'm saying. Like, of
I
course,
think that's
there
a
are like
great tip.
fun
I
things.
think our listeners are definitely going to take that home, because I think that's
There
an
are fun
absolutely
things
great
like
tip.
there are fun things like milestone cards and stuff, but that's personal preference, right? Like, what do you ultimately need to keep that child surviving and thriving in the first 6 weeks? Like, technically food, which is either breast milk or formula. So anything around that is what you need, and nursing pillow, because it's comfortable
Yeah,
to hold your
yeah,
child, and you probably, some people will have C-section stitches. It just helps
yeah.
avoid the discomfort. And
Absolutely. No,
very
I
basic list.
just before I wrap up, actually, Vaishnavi, I have something very important that I want to ask you, and that is that with the kind of choices that parents are making today, and about the fact that they're more aware about environment, sustainability, etc. People are looking at getting more organic products, whether it is in terms of clothes or whether it is in terms of other products for babies. But there is a common conception, and most of the times it is true, that a lot of sustainable products are extremely expensive, which kind of cuts accessibility down to a very, very large extent. How does one tackle that? Let's say somebody who comes from, an average income household but wants to make sustainable choices for their baby. How do they really navigate that space without really, burning their pockets?
So I would say that yes, these products are expensive primarily because it's a demand and supply equation, right? When you make in small batches, when you're spending extra to sort of acquire those specific materials, there is a cost implication to it, right? And which most, or in most cases, do get passed on to the customers. So I would, if I were like from like a middle income family and I want to make these choices and I want to prioritize, I would go about it as products that go inside my child or get absorbed into the skin of the child, is where I would sort of focus heavily on moving towards organic, and then eventually, like, as the family systems also evolve, you'll be able to like move, and also demand and supply also improve and product prices come down, then you'll be able to make the full switch, right? There is zero compulsion for anyone to switch to any of these organic materials. It's just making better choices, and if one has to prioritize, I would look at it this way.
That is so helpful. I think that was very, very insightful. And I'm sure our listeners are taking back home with them a lot of information that will be useful to them. Thank you so much, Vaishnavi, for this. I think this chat was very, very interesting. We love what Nestery is doing. Keep doing what you do. And it's Newborn Care Week. One message that you'd like to give to our listeners before we close this?
Babies are really resilient and they can take a new parent. They know how to manage a new parent. Don't be tentative, follow your intuition. That's pretty much it. And don't buy too many things.
Thank you so much, Vaishnavi. It was great talking to you. This is the SPAG Dialogue podcast. You can check out more content with regards to Newborn Care Week. We have kind of put together a few lists, books you should read, portals you should check out. Where do you really need to head if you need help? All of it is available on spagdialogue.com. Go check it out, and also check out Nestery, because Vaishnavi is doing a great job.